A very good morning for day 2 of the BNL karting series for 2025, being hosted here for the opening round at the home of champions, Karting Genk. Hello, it's Alex Goldschmidt back in the commentary position once again, giving you all the play-by-play action as it happens here live. We've got another 18 races to decide who will be our points leaders heading into the second round of the championship, which heads to the Corvin region of Belgium and the Karting de Fagnes International Raceway in Marienburg. Well, yesterday we had our first 4 finals completed and our first set of points allocated to our respective drivers. And more to the point, once again, the sun and the weather is very much on our side here at this fantastic facility, nestled deep in the heart of Limburg, and is one of the premier circuits in continental Europe, from not just a European standpoint and a national standpoint, but also an international flavour as well. It's hosted so many great events, such as the Saudi World Series International Finals, the 24 Hours of Karting Genk, the Rotax Euro Trophy, the Yamaha Series Benelux, amongst other championships. And more to the point, it is the home of champions. And back a few years ago, back in 2008, the BNL karting series was born and has evolved into the championship we have now. It's an international smorgasbord of fantastic, high-quality drivers that we have coming here to compete against the very best. But also yesterday signalled the start of the road to the grand finals. Of course, they'll be taking place for the third time in 5 years at the Bahrain International Karting Circuit in early December. More to the point, this track has been around for over 4 decades. In 2025, it enters its 5th decade of operation under the Lemons family. It's also the home to the Genker Kart Shop and, of course, the team that Lemons built, GKS Lemons Power, that has seen so many names go through its hallowed doors. And there you see, via the drone shot, this fantastic circuit, a state-of-the-art facility, a great paddock, a fantastic a la carte brasserie headed up by Patrick and his team, and the paddock has been full to bursting. Well over 175 drivers from a multitude of different nationalities have ventured here. As long as we've got Eastern Europe represented, we have Asia represented, we also have Scandinavia represented, as well as the usual suspects such as Germany, Belgium, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, the United Kingdom, as we head trackside for the first time today. And there we have our set of drivers. 4 groups comprising the total field for senior Rotax. 61 drivers have come to the home of champions for this opening round of the season. So for those wanting a little refresher on the calendar, well, Marienburg is the only other stop in terms of circuit location on the calendar this year. So this weekend, the 8th and 9th of March, is the first of 4 double headers. So effectively 2 race days in one weekend, meaning 2 opportunities in the finals to score points. 8 finals for each class will take place over the course of the 4 rounds. So this round here, 17th to the 18th of May at Karting de Fagnes in southern Belgium. Then we return to the home of champions for the final 2 race weekends, 21st and 22nd of June and the 27th and the 28th of September. The best 6 from 8 point scoring opportunities will go towards the tally that will decide our 2025 champions. 5 of the 6 classes, Mini Max, Junior Max, Senior Max, DD2 and DD2 Masters. The champion in each class will receive an opportunity to compete at the illustrious and famed Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals, which, as I said, will return to the sands of the Persian Gulf in Bahrain at the International Karting Circuit. So this year, the Kingdom of Bahrain will host the 2025 Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals from November the 29th to December the 6th this year. And that track has proved to be a favourite of many a driver that has already been to that fantastic facility. And also the Bahrain International Karting Circuit back in 2021 had the prestigious honour of hosting the first ever set of qualifying heats in the Grand Finals history to be under floodlights under the wonderful Bahraini nighttime sky. However, the road has just started for these drivers. Some have been competing in a multitude of other events, most recently such as the Champions Winter Trophy just a fortnight ago. So a warm welcome to our viewers, not just on the BNL Karting Series YouTube channel, but also on our Facebook page. Thank you for joining us. And over the course of today, we will have the qualifying heats before the lunch break. We'll have the qualifying heats after the lunch break. We'll also have the qualifying heats and the pre-final for DD2 and DD2 Masters, along with our finals where the top 36 in Minimax and Minimax Rookie, Junior Max and Senior Max will have the opportunity to score points. We are just under 45 seconds away from the first race of the weekend, and it is qualifying heats number 1 out of 6. Our Senior Max drivers aged 14 years and older. Minimum weight 162 kilos, including driver and cart. And as we have perfect dry weather conditions, 12 degrees centigrade air ambient temperature, they'll be running on the Mojo D5 CIK Prime tyre. So, for the first time today, the signal is given to the drivers, the engines are fired up, and everyone filters out onto this 1,360 metre clockwise 13 turn circuit. Let's take you through the starting grid for heat number 1, A versus B. Pole position goes the way of Sverre Ubben from Belgium, who took the overall fastest time in qualifying. Devion Rust will join him alongside on the front row, ahead of Macaulay Bishop and Jort van Wijk. Matera Denkovic and Matthias Jellerup will round out row 3, with Jack West joined by fellow countryman Lewis Goff on row number 4. Adam Wooden and Simon Perigny rounds out the top 10, ahead of Knut Nielsen and Luca Mulau. Christopher Holst will be joined by the Netherlands' Thijs van Wijk on the next row, with Lorenzo Giaquinto and Noah Janssen next up. Cameron Nelson and Arnold Sabarin will be on the next row. Jay Servel joined by Atium Sestikovs, with Luca Brima and Tino Potier on the next row. Looks like Luca Brima, I think, might have had a technical issue and broke down. Looked like it was coming through turn number 1, possibly. Yes, there are yellow flags at Marshall Post 1. So Luca Brima's first race has already ended before it started. Lex Quintens, Adrian Stions, Magnus Brandt, Matthias Holm Hansen, Alexander Rasmussen, Bo Arris, Romans Rodinovs and the UAE's Rein Kairos round out your 30-strong grid. And good to see some activity in the YouTube chat. Alexander Van Meeuwen cheering on fellow GKS driver Sverre Ubben, who took pole position. Group 2 with a faster group this time, so Sverre Ubben leads Group A, Devian Ross leads Group B. So a total of four groups. We'll have A, B and C for Mini Max and Rookies, and Junior Max a little bit later. So 7 minutes plus an additional lap will be the duration of all of the qualifying heats when we get to the pre-final for DD2 and DD2 Masters, which is set to take place at just before 2:10 local time. That will be 10 minutes plus a lap. Then the finals later on, 12 minutes plus an additional lap for Mini, Rookie and Junior. Senior, DD2 and Masters their finals will be over 15 minutes plus an additional lap. There you see the grandstand just off of turn 10 as the field makes its way through into turn number 11. Once they passed the point of no return, the red line, which also has a big diverted left arrow towards the pit lane, the drivers now will weave a little bit just to check the steering, maybe get an additional couple of degrees of temperature in those Mojo D5 CIK tyres. So Luca Prima, the notable absentee in this race. 29 drivers ready to get themselves under starters' orders here at the home of champions as we are ready to get day 2 underway. The revs are up, lights are on, and the lights are out. We're underway, and it's the run down to turn 1. Good start by the pole sitter Sverre Ubben. Macaulay Bishop slotting in behind in the 368 for DHR as everyone tries to make their way through turn 1. A couple of drivers having to use the runoff area. After that point, they cannot use it, or the runoff area coming out of turn number 10. So the field makes its way onto the famed Europalan 3 wide towards the back part of the top 20 as everyone flies down this back straightaway, heading into the flick-flack chicane at turn 6 and 7. So Sverre Ubben leading the way ahead of Macaulay Bishop. Devian Ross looks to be in P3 as they head down into turn number 10 for the first time. So Jort van Wijk looks to have moved up a position as we come across the line very shortly as Sverre Ubben leads us across the line to complete the opening lap, and he has a lead of just over 0.1 of a second from Macaulay Bishop. There's the 399 of Belgium's Mateo Denkovic trying to go through for a move as Macaulay Bishop takes the lead off of Sverre Ubben in the early stages as we head through turn 4 and then into the hard braking zone for the right-hand hairpin at 5, leading us on to the Europalan. Sverre Ubben has now got Devian Ross closing in on him, and they try to go into battle into turn 6. Ubben holds his line. Jort van Wijk is there, Jack West is there, Adam Wooden is there. Mateo Denkovic, who's dropped from 5th, now running 7th. Sets the fastest opening sector of the race so far. Knud Nielsen goes purple in sector 2 as the field makes its way down through turn 10. And Bishop has already scarped off into the distance. His lead over Ubben is now 4.5 tenths of a second as Bishop leads the field coming out of the final corner and across the line. And the gap is 0.457 of a second. Black and white warning flag being shown to the 357 of Atiam Sestakovs, the Latvian driver. So a few drivers dropping down the order. Adrians Tions brings up the rear of the field. As we are on to lap number 3, the field makes its way down the Europalan once again as Jack West takes a look over his right-hand shoulder very briefly. Sees Mateo Denkovic is there, who's hot on his heels. So Jort van Wijk and Jack West, new recruits at DHR for 2025. And now Devian Ross closing in on Sverre Ubben as, oh, nice move there. Now that was Jack West back through on Mateo Denkovic. Sverre Ubben now has got Devian Ross up the inside, and Ross gets through for second place. But after 3 laps, it is going to be Macaulay Bishop that's going to lead, and his gap now has expanded to just over half a second into T1. And Sverre Ubben waited for the opportunity to get through. Could not get through at turn 1. Jort van Wijk is now closing in on the 2 in front. So it's the United Kingdom leading the Netherlands from Belgium. From the Netherlands from Belgium. From the United Kingdom. Denmark then now finds its way in 7th position, courtesy of Matthias Jallerup. Thijs van Wijk sets the fastest lap of the race. 54.518. He's dropped down from 14th position. Currently runs 16th behind Atiam Sestakovs, who's already made up 5 positions. We're now into the halfway point of this first of 6 senior qualifying heats here at the home of champions. And Devian Ross is starting to pick up the pace. He is closing that gap down to Macaulay Bishop. So Rasmussen gets a black and white warning flag. So that's Alexander Rasmussen, the 302, down in 23rd, started 27th on the grid. Well, make that now 22nd. But Bishop starting to try and see if he can pull that gap. But at the minute, well, the combined efforts of Devian Ross, Sverre Ubben, Jort van Wijk and Mateo Denkovic They are really closing that gap. The top 5 covered by 9.3 tenths of a second after 4 laps of racing. So Bishop is finding that he's going to have to defend very soon from the quartet that are right with him. Radenkovic has the new fastest lap of the race of 54.248. And Simon Perigny a little bit further back for the Lehouk Racing team. Did a really good job in one of the heats yesterday. One on the road, but unfortunately got a penalty post-race. So Roman Zrodionovs is the latest driver now to get a black and white warning flag from race control, the 362, who's now moved up into 25th position. But the top 3 led by Bishop, with Rust and Ubben rounding that out. They're being closed in by another trio. Radenkovic now has got through on Jort van Wijk. Jack West now rounds out the top 6. Top 10 rounded out by Simon Perigny from France. And the top 10 spread out by about just over 3.1 seconds. And Emerson McAndrew-Uren, thank you very much for joining us, buddy. He's cheering on Macaulay and also the rest of the DHR teammates. As Sverre Ubben is losing positions. He's lost one to Matej Radenkovic. Jort van Wijk and Jack West nearly go side by side coming out of turn number 13. As we head on to lap number 7. And there's been a bit of a drama. Matej van Wijk and Artyom Sestakovs have tumbled down the order. Meantime, Radenkovic is really trying to keep himself ahead of everybody behind him. And it's proving to be a little... Well, it's Jort van Wijk. So... And dramas for Noe Janssen from Germany. Started 16th, now currently showing in 27th position. He's just broken the timing beam to go into sector number 2. But very shortly, we should be going on to our penultimate lap. But it's jockeying for position between Bishop, Rust and Radenkovic. Jort van Wijk gets a warning flag in the 333. And signals being given between mechanic and driver as they cross the line. 2 laps remain. As Bishop still holding his racing line and keeping himself pretty much there or thereabouts. And Radenkovic through at turn 5, trying to seize the window of opportunity. Could have waited maybe to pull alongside Devian Rust, who's holding on to second for the moment. Timer hits 0. Next time around will be on the final lap of this opening heat out of 6 for Senior Max. Each driver will take part in 3 heats before we find out who will be the top 36 drivers after the intermediate classification going through to this afternoon's final. Last lap underway and Bishop holding on. But for how much longer is the rudimentary question that needs to be asked right now. So through into turn 4, now into turn 5. Could it be a run to the line here in the opening race of day number 2 for the season opener this weekend here at the BNL Karting Series? Bishop leads them through, coming through turn 10 and into 11. Then it's going to be the run down to the final couple of corners. Bishop is doing everything to keep the back axle of that Lando Norris chassis as wide as humanly possible. But is it going to be a hold on for him? Yes, it is. By just over 0.2 of a second, Macaulay Bishop wins the opening heat of the day by just over 0.2, following on from 9 laps of intense, very close quarter senior Rotax action here at the home of champions. He takes the win ahead of Devian Rust, with Matej Radenkovic making it 3 different nationalities in the top 3, UK, Netherlands and Belgium. Jort van Wijk and Sverre Ubben round out your top 5. Sverre Ubben having started on pole. So just over 12.2 kilometres completed in that heat. So Knud Nielsen finishes behind Matthias Jaderup, with Lewis Goff, Jack West and Simon Perigny rounding out the top 10. Duo rounding out the top 12 for KR Sport, Adam Wooden and Canada's Arnold Sabarin. Then Christopher Holst, Luca Moulard and Lorenzo Giaquinto round out your top 15. Cameron Nelson, moving up to seniors this year, finishes 16th, ahead of Jay Zurveld, Thijs van Wijk, Artyom Sestakovs and Lex Quintens, with Magnus Brandt, Romans Rodionovs, Noah Janssen, Adrien Sions, Matthias Holm Hansen, Ryan Kairos and Bo Ulrich rounding out your top 27. Alexander Rasmussen and Tino Potier all made it to the checkered after 9 laps, covered by nearly 16 and 3/4 seconds. Luca Brima, unfortunately, did not manage to take the starts with the recovery vehicle, now going to assist the 358 from the Netherlands. Well, that's one of the many races we've got here today in the books. 18 in total. Next up, it's heat number 2 for qualifying heats for senior road tax. Up next, it is going to be Groups C versus D. We'll be right back after these messages. So for those watching on the BNL Karting Series YouTube channel and Facebook page, there is the circuit we're racing at this weekend. Clockwise is the direction that you normally travel in at Karting Genk. 13 turns in all and 1,360 metres. It's the venue for the first, third and final rounds of this year's BNL Karting Series season. A season that opened back in 2008. And it has seen a whole host of talent compete in it over the years. Max Verstappen, now this very shortly, will be starting his campaign for a 5th successive Formula One World Championship Drivers' title. He was the inaugural one of the first people, actually, if not the first person to make a bit of history in BNL Karting Series folklore. He was the first driver to do back-to-back in Mini-Max titles in 2008 and 2009. And then Stan Peck's his good friend who runs SP Motorsport, whose father goes rallying, by the way. Richard does like to go off the beaten track, so to speak. But you look at the drivers that have come through this championship. Reinus VK and Oliver Askew, 2 drivers that have made it to IndyCar. Thomas Pining, who competes in sports cars in GT3s and is also a recent DTM champion. Even Beitske Visser, who has been racing in sports cars, does a lot of sim racing, has also competed in this series. Glenn Van Berlo, who's also racing in sports cars, has also competed and become a title winner in this championship. And hello to New South Wales, to Bathurst and Michael Burke. Evening all, 9:20 p.m. here in Bathurst, Australia, the home of the Bathurst 1000, and also the 12 Hours of Bathurst. So the green flag is waved at the end of the dummy grid once again as we get on ourselves under starters' orders for qualifying Heat 2 for Senior Max. It's Group C versus D. Let's take you through our starting grid. So pole position goes the way of Robbie Storder. He'll be joined by Italy's Gianmarco Cortopassi on the front row. Charlie Smith from the United States will be joined by Tino Sidler from Switzerland on row 2. Day 1 final winner, Tom Longnoir, will start on the inside of row number 3, and he'll be joined by Georgia's Lado Kuhanidze. Ollie Wise and Sebastian Koch round out the next row, ahead of Alexander Lemaire and Ollie Yonkers, who was on pole for the final yesterday. And then it's an all-French row, the next one along. Ryan Bourguignon and Bastien Mesnil. Armand Hamilton and Matteo Montrone ran at the following row, followed by Lloyd Hare and Ruben Verheyen, William Pemble and Benjamin Demant, Alex Aim and Frederic Demant, Philip Enemark and Thiel and Wayne, Enes de Mercaya and Francisek Sulima, Lotus Tween, Sebastian Killerich, Frederick Sorensen, Enzo Zani, Dante Sima, and bringing up the rear of the field, Sasha M, who was disqualified due to a tyre technical non-conformity post-qualifying this morning. So there is the starting grid. No one has had any technical dramas with regards to the formation lap. So the red lights ignited on the gantry once again here to end the to start the route on which we will then conclude the first third of the qualifying heats here for Senior Max. The drivers now make their way past the red line of no return. So Stordeur and Cortopassi on the front row. We make our way into the tram lines and the revs build. The lights are on. Are we going lights out? Yes, we are. We're green and underway. And Robbie Stordeur, Gianmarco Cortopassi, wheel to wheel, going into turn number 1 as the Italian tries to go for the move round the outside. However, it doesn't quite transpire. The entire field has made its way safely through into turn 5. But into 6. Oh, 3 off. Exit stage left. One of which is the 398 Benjamin Demant. The 344 Alex Aim, and I think also I think it was Lloyd Hare might have been the third cart. Well, that was one cart that went off, but it was all flotsam and jetsam going into turn 5. And there's a big incident. One cart going over the back of another. I just caught the right of one cart going back over the other through into turn 10. But after the opening lap, it is Robbie Stordeur that leads. Oh no, I've just seen a big turn of events because down the order go Lloyd Hare, Sebastian Koch and Charlie Smith. Oh dear, the German and the American might have come together at that moment in time. So there is the 385 I've just spotted, Lado Kuhanidze, who's closing in, and it looks like Sebastian Koch and Lloyd Hare might be the two drivers that have just had a bit of a coming together on the run down to turn 10 at Cafe Corner just off of the grandstand. So it looks like their race may be at a premature end. More side by side, more overtaking, as there is Ollie Wise, who's really got his elbows out this morning. I think he's at his Weetabix again. 5 minutes to go, and Cortopassi goes for the race lead on Robbie Stordeur. Through into T1. Stordeur tries to go through. A little bit of a bump between the pair. That's going to open the door for Tino Sidler and the 355, the fast Frenchman, Tom Longnoir. That just goes to show how quickly things can turn on its head, that you could be leading And then all of a sudden you find yourself down in fourth. So Lloyd Hare and Sebastian Koch are out, I'm afraid. So both their respective days haven't gone too well in this early stage. Qualifying was a different matter. Ollie Wise, however, is on an absolute binge of speed. The 3:56 from KR Sport, as now there's going to be a change. As Langlois gets through on Sidler for second. Sidler's trying to fight back. Stordeur is there waiting in the wings. And Stordeur is having to fight now with Bastien Mesnil and Ollie Wise. So talk about powder keg situation. Up the inside goes Tom Langlois, retakes second. Off of Tino Sidler as they break the beam for the opening sector. But this is now allowing Gianmarco Cortapassi in the 3:21 from Italy to scarper away into the distance. And his lead is the best part of just over 3/4 of a second. So we're past the halfway point. We're now completing lap number 4. So Gianmarco Cortapassi with the team at MKC Motorsports doing a sterling job at the moment. As well, 3:44. Alex Aim has pulled into pit lane and is out. As Enes Demirakaya trying to go, all this is side by side. Demirakaya squeezes through. And I have a feeling that might have been... Who was that? Well, that was Enes Demirakaya going through on Bastien Mesnil. So lap 5 in the books. Cortapassi leads. And, well, Demirakaya ahead of Yonkers. It was actually Sasha Aim that lost a couple of positions. But Gianmarco Cortapassi, his lead was 3/4 of a second. It's been cut by 2/3 nigh on. Tom Langlois is catching him though. Bastien Mesnil from France goes quickest, absolute fastest of anybody in the opening sector out of 3 here at this 1.36 kilometre circuit. Dive for the lead and through. That was Langlois. Langlois now through on Cortapassi. And now the floodgates could open very shortly indeed, because you've got Tino Sidler, Robbie Stordeur, Ollie Wise, Bastien Mesnil and Laro Kudenice. As Ollie Wise right on the rear of Robbie Stordeur. They go down the right-hand side of the start-finish straight. And, well, Enzo Zani on the Praga has just pulled the cart into the pits. Noisy exhaust, I'm afraid, so might have suffered someone going over the back bumper and over the exhaust and knocking the baffles loose. And still they are battling away down the Europelan. We've got just over 50 seconds remaining. And Ollie Wise very much embroiled in a battle. And that will be with Robbie Stordeur. So already we've lost Alex Aim, Charlie Smith, Sebastian Koch and Lloyd Hare. 2 laps to go and, well, the drivers scrapping over 3rd and 4th and 5th. They're really going at it hammer and tongs. Ollie Wise being pressurised by Bastien Mesnil, Laro Kudenice, Ryan Bourguignon. Ollie Yonkers won't be too far from this battle either, as Wise goes a little bit deeper, opens the door, and the 2 behind him get through. So Bourguignon also now gets through. That's at turn 6. But the timer has expired. Next time around we go on to the last lap of this race. So Langlois is going to bring us across the line. One more lap to go. Cortopassi, Stodder, Sidler, Mesnil, Kohanidze, Bourguignon and Wise with Yonkers and Demirkaya rounding out your top 10. But Langlois having the confidence after yesterday's victory in the final, scoring a maximum haul of 55 points, has given the French driver confidence to just go for broke and see if he can pick up the maximum score of 110 come the end of this race weekend. But still, there's plenty of battles to be had later on, but Tom Langlois powers out of the final corner and the Frenchman wins ahead of Cortopassi, Stodder, Sidler, Mesnil, Larocoenite on the last lap of the race, sets the fastest of anybody. 54.618, but there is your race winner, Tom Langlois from France, who's got 55 points on the board from yesterday's final. He takes the win after 9 laps of racing. So good job there by the 355 from Dams Racing. A lot of people who I've spoken to have said, well, Jan Dams and his crew, they have brought a crack troop of drivers this year. Langlois had a difficult season, but has got it off to the right way possible. Picks up the win in the final yesterday, but also picks up his opening qualifying heat win of the day. So Langlois finishes 9 laps, nearly 7 tenths ahead of Cortopassi with Stodder, Sidler, Mesnil, Kohanidze, Bourguignon, Yonkers, Wise, Hamilton, Demirkaya, Sasha Aim, Ruben Verheyen, Thierry Lemoyne, Matteo Montroni running out the top 15. And it's Pemble, Sorensen, Sulima, Sima, Lemaire, Enemark, Tveen, Killerich with Frederick and Benjamin Demant rounding out the 25 finishers. Enzo Zani, Alex Aim, Charlie Smith, Sebastian Koch and Lloyd Hare all retiring. Well, we turn our attention very shortly from seniors to juniors. As up next, it's qualifying Heat 1 for Junior Max Groups B versus C. So the 3-minute horn sounds in the dummy grid and the mechanics are instructed to clear the dummy grid as our first set of Junior Max drivers are primed and ready. There is the defending champion, Jacob Ashcroft, the young man from Western-super-Mare, who has taken not only 2 titles in the BNL karting series, he's also secured European glory, but last year, well, the drought was finally over. He finally took the Junior Max Grand Finals title. And there alongside him is going to be one of the other competitors, Mate Kobahidze, the young charger from Georgia, in the 244. And this is a wonder. You wonder what the drivers are thinking at this point as to their thought process. Some will just be calmly, like we see here, Luca Van Leer looking at the chronometer on the steering wheel. And there's a lot of information that can be extrapolated from that little digital dash. See, we've got a scroll function as well. It's just like a smartphone for karting, only it gives you all the relevant information that a driver needs, and also data very much drives modern day motorsport, and it's very much true when it comes to karting. There's a few sensors on the kart that really indicates like oil temperature of the engine. Also the lap times, the splits. Also provides telemetry when they plug in the USB sticks into the laptops that these teams have. It's very much how competitive karting can be. So 1 minute to go until the drivers are released for this first heat of the weekend. Ivan Clever, father of Mateus, he says, good morning, Alex. Good to have you back. We're setting up for Marienburg. Yes, the first round of the 2025 Rotax Belgian Max Challenge gets underway as part of the Benefit League for 2025 in just 2 weeks' time, where I will be in the booth for the action there. Combination event through Chrono Karting and also Limburg Karting, who run and operate Karting Genk. But now the drivers slam the visors down shut and the green flag shown as our drivers make their way out onto the circuit. Yes, looking forward to catching up with you and Mateus in a couple of weeks there, Ivan. So until then, enjoy the show today. Let's have a look at our grid for the opening qualifying heat. It's Junior Max Heat 1, B versus C. It's a Dan Holland Racing front row with the UK and Georgia represented through Jacob Ashcroft and Mate Kobahidze. All Dutch row 2 with Storm van Rossum and Luca van Leer. UK and Denmark on row 3 with Noah Barham and Christian Sejersen. And then it's the UK and Japan with Harry Freeman joined by Shun Sekaguchi. Ryan Gandor and Boris Verhaag for Canada, and the Netherlands round out what is effectively your top 10. Then Lenny Hobiolagash, Eren Unludogan, who was a big surprise yesterday. Very, very competitive was the young Turkish driver. After that, it's Rory Armstrong joined by Olivier Chasse. Lieke van Berkelen and Abbas next up, with Lucas Tordeur, Frederick Flood Engebretts, Cody Lepetterhel from Guernsey, Ethan Griffiths from Merthyr Tydfil in Wales, Ava Morris and Hannah Kreitz are parts of this grid, and it's great to have those two young female drivers with us. Devrim Yater, Ludwig Hansson, Jack Collinson, Ryan Rivers, Emily Siedkowska, Connor Large, Samir Paul, Andrea Lavazza, Justin Fonk, Alex Goodson, Nicolas Machon and Lionel Munguia round out the starting order. It looks like we're going to have two non-starters here. Max Grassini from Luxembourg and Tom Reger from Germany. So the junior Rotax division, drivers aged between 12 and 15. 145 kilos minimum weight, including driver, and they are running on the Mojo D2XX CIK option tyre. So it is Ashcroft and Kobahidze on the front row of the grid as we are set and primed to get Junior Max action here underway for day 2. So the drivers head their way out of the final corner. Revs up, lights on, lights are out, we're underway and we're racing. Good start by the two drivers on the front row as Mate Kobahidze tries to go around the outside. There's been a bit of a tangle, and one of which is the 278 Cody Lepetterhel running with the Trinity Kart Racing team has gone off. I think there was a KR Sport kart involved. I think it might have been Olivier Chasse possibly from KR Sports as everyone makes their way through turn 5. Oh! One over the back of the other. Justin Fonk over the rear of Samir Paul. as the top three starting to break away. Luca van Leer has got through on Storm van Rossum for P3, but it's Ashcroft leading Kobahidze from van Leer, von van Rossum, as they go into turn 10 at breakneck speed, as I think that was Eren Unlodogan through on Lenny Hobiolagash from the Lehouk Racing team. And a 3-1 exchange coming out of turn number 13. After the opening lap, it's Ashcroft that leads. Kobahidze in second. Van Leer, P3. Ashcroft with the fastest lap out of anybody, 57.510. As one cart went very deep into turn 1 just a second ago. Rory Armstrong, the young man from County Down in Northern Ireland, he's made up 3 spots and is running behind DHR teammate Shun Sekaguchi. And a little bit more battling. Lucas Stordeur having to fight tooth and nail. Stordeur in the midfield of this 33 strong grid. And looks like Olivier Chasse has not been able to make it past the opening sector on the first lap. So the Canadian is a retiree. And, well, Unlodogan has just got past on Lieke van Berkel through into turn number 12. Ashcroft continues to control proceedings in these opening couple of laps. Kobahidze with that wonderful Ayrton Senna tribute livery helmet. As a little bit further back, we have got a bit of a 2 and 8. That is involving, I believe, one of the carts from Dan Holland Racing. Trying to pick out the number. There's Harry Freeman, who's behind Ryan Gandor, and in between them is Dan Holland. I think it's from DHR, Noah Barham in the 213. But Ashcroft is keeping. And there we see, I was going to say, Charlotte Skudson. Yeah, Alex, who's had a difficult qualifying. That's a great first name, isn't it? I should know I've got that one as well. He's up 12 places, up to 20th. Expect that youngster to move up the order over the next 4 minutes. So Ryan Gandor up 3 spots, now P6. Luca van Leer trying to go wheel to wheel with Marte Kobahidze. So far, Boris Verhaag fastest overall in sectors 1 and 3. Ryan Gandor fastest in the second sector. Unlodogan from Turkey, new fastest lap, 56.380. As Lenny Hobiolagash has already got through on Rory Armstrong. That's going to be a change for the final spots in the top 10. And more to the point, well, there is a lot of activity happening. Christian Sejersen for RS competition being closed in on by, I think that's Storm van Rossum, who's only dropped a couple of places in this race so far. So Storm van Rossum running on the OTK, trying to fight tooth and nail with some of the drivers that are aligned with some of the big teams, including DHR that leads the way. Len Abbas from Germany, new fastest lap for the driver for SFR Motorsport, who in previous years, funny enough, have run Dan Ginchard, a former BNL karting series alumni in his own right. So, movers and shakers at the moment. Alex Goodson up 12 places still. He's rounding out the top 20. Ava Morris up 3 places. She's currently 18th, ahead of Ludwig Hansson, who's moved up 5 spots. Andrea Lavazza up 5 spots from 30th on the grid. Now rounds out the top 25. Lionel Munguia up 5 places, now runs 29th. Justin Fonk up 3 places and runs in the position ahead. Ashcroft still trying to pull a small gap. And that is to the tune of nearly half a second for the 246 from Western Supermare. And also had the opportunity to run as part of the Energy Corsa team at PFI for FIA karting last year. And that was the same weekend that Matthew Higgins took a podium in OK Senior. But Ashcroft continuing to showcase why he is he has the talent that he has, but you do have such a great depth and breadth in this field. So leaders coming through the final couple of corners. Kobahidze is holding on at the moment for second. Van Leer is trying to chase the Georgian down and pass him. And through into turn 1. This time Kobahidze once again holds his line. Storm van Rossum has got through on Christian Sejersen, who's got pressure from Japan's... not from Japan, it's from the UK. It's Noah Borum. Sorry, Noah, my apologies there. He gets through. There's Noah Borum from DHR at turn 5 for 5th. So Alex Goodson watching the moment, Charlotte. He's up another spot. 13 places now. As we're very shortly going to be heading on to what I think will be the penultimate lap of this race. So we're on lap 7 at the moment as the leaders come through turn 10 and then fills their way into turn 11. There's multiple pelotons in this race so far. So we will have one and one more remaining. And Luca Van Leer pulls the trigger, dives up the inside into the approach into T1 on Mate Kobahidze, and Kobahidze ends up having to settle at this moment in time for 3rd place. Alex Goodson, new fastest lap, 55.786, or the 226 representing the United Kingdom. Timer has hit 0. So next time around we'll get the last lap board shown to our leading drivers and the remainder of the field. Jack Collinson having his first run as a junior Max driver. Did have a chat with him earlier on this weekend. I think it was on Friday before I left the circuit early. And I said, how are you finding it? He said, yeah, it's pretty good actually. Lot to learn. Lenny Hobiolagash gets a warning flag from race control. So the French driver in the 204. Rounding out what is now the top 10. So last lap underway. And Ashcroft's lead is now nearly 0.6 of a second. And can there be an opportunity for Georgia's Mate Kobahidze to get through? Noah Barham is getting on with the business at hand and is looking to side draft his way past Storm van Rossum going into turn 6. And Barham is through. Great work there by the young driver from the United Kingdom. But we're heading down to the final couple of corners. Storm van Rossum stays ahead of Christian Sejersen. But now, out of the final corner, Ashcroft wins his first heat of day 2 by nearly 6.5 of a second. Followed by Luca Van Leer from SR Solutions, Mate Kobahidze, Noah Barham, Storm van Rossum, Christian Sejersen, Ryan Gandor. We've got Harry Freeman, Erin Unodogan, and Lenny Hobiolagash rounding out your top 10. Then after that, Shun Sekaguchi from Japan, Boris Verhaag, Rory Armstrong, Fredrik Flood Engebretts rounding out 14th. Lucas Stoddard completes the top 15 with Len Abbas, Lika van Berkel, Alex Goodson, Ava Morris and Ryan Rivers rounding out your top 20. Charlotte, 14 places gained by Alex. That's a great job. And with it, fastest lap, 55.786 with a couple of laps to go. So, Ludwig Hansson, Ethan Griffiths, Jack Collinson, Andrea Lavazza, Justin Fonk, Devrim Yater, Hannah Kreitz, Cory Lepeterel, Nicolas Machon, Emily Sierkowska, Connor Large, Samir Paul, Lionel Munguia being the last of the classified finishers. The 33 covered by just under 24.8 seconds at the flag after 9 laps of racing. Olivier Chasse out, and 2 non-starters in the form of Max Grissini and Tom Reja. Well, next up, it's the first qualifying heat. B versus C, Minimax and Minimax Rookie.
Why do you come here? Is this your career?
Or is it all about fun? A chance to get away and leave it all behind?
Or do you chase your personal best? Challenging yourself over and over again. Why do you come here?
Maybe you're here to collect moments. Good ones. And not so good ones.
Or you can't afford mistakes because you want that victory. It's all about this one moment when the hard work finally pays off.
This is the place that brings us closer to the people who share our story. Whoever we are.
Whatever we're here for. Racing is who we are.
So we now go down to the dummy grid, and there is the 121 Austin Amman for Sam Pollitt Racing, and it's really good to see another team from just over the channel to come over to compete with us here at the BNL Karting Series. A lot of drivers in this particular class, and so great to see that there's still that playful aspect of these. There we go, lots of waving. Leo Livings and Macardia Casada, waves from Leo. It's the double wave here. Jazz hands there, Leo. Keep it going. Lovely. Like it. And there's Ryan Rampadarath in the shot there as well. Finn Albert Jorgensen, one of the young and upcoming superstars in Danish karting in this category. Also took a title in RMC Germany last year. And Ryan Rampadarath, last year's mini rookie champion, makes the step up to Mini Max itself. And there is Dimitar Lazov, one of the young German superstars in Mini Max competition, and has been competing with the likes of Conor Hulfer last year in the RMC Germany Championship, Chrono Karting Dutch RMC. So the drivers now start up the engines, and green flag indicates they are to be released onto the circuit here at the home of champions. So let's take you through the starting grid for qualifying Heat 1B versus C for Mini and Mini Rookie. And it's an all-British Sam Pollitt Racing front row. Riley Morrow and Austin Amman lead the way, with Morrow on pole. Mick Klinkers and Marc-André Quesada rounding out row 2. Finn Halbert Jorgensen and Leo Jazzhand Livings with a double wave there. Round out row 3, Dimitar Lazarov and Ryan Rampadarath row 4, with Conrad Doyle and Tristan Abils rounding out the top 10. It's going to be Andreas Yarup and Harry Radcliffe on the next row, with Lewis Boots and Paul Dussard rounding out row 7. Tiger Holdhausen and Leon Herbos, Benedictus Masiokas and Lawrence van Vlaanderen, with Victor Royce and Anton Christensen rounding out the top 20. No Dayan Habits, who will be a non-starter, so rounding out the 25 strong will be Alfie Mayer, Klaus Hans, Noah Stehauder, Harris Barber and Milad de Koolsmaker. That is your grid. So Dean Habitson on starter, but there is your grid for qualifying heat BC. 7 minutes plus an additional lap. We'll have one more race to take us to the lunch break, and that'll be DD2 and DD2 Masters next up. So the driver's slowing to a crawl. We are set and ready for mini and mini rookie action here at the home of champions. It's Morrow and Oman leading the way as they come through at a crawl. Now they're going to head into the tram lines. It's revs up, lights on, and the lights are out. We're underway. Clean start as Riley Morrow tries to cover off those behind, including Mick Clinkers, who dives to the inside. And we nearly had a drama through turn one. One driver narrowly avoiding an incident. I think might have gotten a little bit of a touch from behind. But through back for the lead goes Riley Morrow on Mick Clinkers in the 105. Oh, and that's Tygo Holthausen collected and spun into. Ryan Rampadarath has just been rear-ended by the 106 of Mina de Galsmaker from GKS. Oh, that was a hard hit. So Rampadarath having nowhere to go. And Mina de Galsmaker at full speed went slam bang into the back of the 133 from SP Motorsport. Meantime, well, someone's got away, and that driver is Riley Morrow. Look at the scramble behind. Makadria Casada in that. Finn Albert Jorgensen, Leo Livings, Lewis Boots. And Alfie Mayer has just put in the fastest second and third sector. Riley Morrow's got the fastest lap of the race. So drama's on lap one for Mini and Mini Rookie. There's Makandria Casada getting through on Mick Clinkers. Finn Albert Jorgensen closing in on them. And Alfie Mayer has rocketed up the order. Started all the way down in 21st position. Finn Albert Jorgensen looking for an opportunity to get through. Lewis Boots through on Dimitar Lazarov. Harry Radcliffe getting cheers from Chris Ball up in YouTube. Harry's now moved up into 12th place. As Mick Clinker's still battling away with Finn Albert Jorgensen. Now Alfie Mayer joins them. Morrow leads after 2 laps. Oman second. Quesada. Clinkers. Oh, and Jorgensen has nowhere to go, and he's up and over on his roof. Oh, Finn Albert Jorgensen is okay. I'm so glad to see it. It was contact between, I think it was Finn Albert Jorgensen and Mick Clinkers coming through turn one. That is not what you want to see, but Finn Albert Jorgensen got up under his own power. He's being looked after by one of the marshalling team. Cart is now off the racing line. So we've got a yellow out at Marshall post number 1. Oh, and Finn Albert Jorgensen is hobbling after that nasty rollover. Got 4 minutes to go. So a big drama for the youngster from Denmark. He's now sitting down, now being attended to by one of the team. I'm sure that medical may be called to assist. So I'm so pleased to see that Finn is okay. But obviously there may be an injury that may curtail his first race weekend of this season. But the race carries on. 3 minutes and 15 to go. Riley Morrow leads by nearly 0.6 of a second, as in the meantime, having got past Austin Oman, Francis Macandre-Quesada is closing that gap. The youngster with MKC Motorsport, who at times have had the legend Buzz Lammers in their corner as a driver coach. Austin Oman looking for the inside line. Alfie Mayer, whose front bumper is not... Well, I think it might be dragging on the ground there for Alfie Mayer. Yes, the front parts of the bumper is scraping on the tarmac, from what I can see. And Alfie Mayer just sets the fastest lap of the race. 59.302 for the driver in fourth, who's made up what is now 17 total places. Harris Barber, in the meantime, started down in 24th, now running in 11th position. Noah Stayhouder, Lawrence van Vlaanderen, Klaus Hans, Anton Christensen is also now up a few positions. Yes, you can see how much flexing there is on that front bumper of Alfie Mayer at this moment in time. There's Lewis Boots closing in on Leo Livings. And that is the battle for fifth place. Alfie Mayer. Oh, slight glancing blow between Alfie Mayer and the 121 of Austin Oman. Coming down to the last minute and a half. Alfie Mayer really trying to hurry things along and trying to go towards the inside of Austin Oman. And now wheel to wheel coming out of turn 9. Cassandra is waiting the wings to pick up the pieces. Through into the right-hander. Oman retakes second. Now they run down out of turn number 11 into turns 12 and 13. Mayer goes for it again through turn 12. He's got through. Cassandra is going to thread the eye of the needle. Up the inside of Austin Oman, who drops to fourth. So 2 laps remaining, I would imagine. So Riley Morrow is clear by nearly 9/10 of a second. And side by side, Dimitar Lazarov just through the old Slim Shady, I think, round the outside of Leo Livings. Yes, the German driver did complete the move. As now through on Alfie Mayer goes Austin Oman. Down at turn 6, facilitates it by the time they exit out of turn 7. Through the chicane off the end of the back straight at the Europolan. 15 seconds to go. And Oman trying to close back in on Alfie Mayer for that second position, but is losing time. So they literally crossed the line with nothing on the counter. So we could be in for another 2 laps. Leo Livings closing in once again on Lewis Boots. Alfie Mayer sets the new fastest lap of the race, 58.898. And Livings trying to go up the inside of Lazarov. He's bouncing up and down in the seat. Are they going to be 3 wide? Down the back stretch, they nearly were. Livings gets back through on Lewis Boots. And Lazarov leads that train. So down in towards turn 10. Timer has expired. This time around, last lap board will be seen by Riley Morrow. And look how quickly Alfie Mayer has closed in on him. 1 more tour to go. Morrow pulls to the right-hand side. Alfie Mayer says, look, come on, don't do that. Just go. Let's just go. Let's get away from those behind us. But in the meantime, it's allowed Austin Oman and Macandre Quesada to close on in. And Alfie Mare trying to see if he can put a move on Riley Morrow. And Alfie Mare switches to the outside going into turn 6. Morrow holds his line, holds position. Now through into turn 9 for the final time. Both drivers wrestling with the steering wheel. Osterman could close in the dying moments of this race. Through turn 10. Now out of 11 they go. 2 more corners remain. It could be a run to the line between Morrow and Mare. And Mare tries to dive up the inside, but to no avail. Out of the final corner, Riley Morrow picks up the win in qualifying Heat 1. Groups B versus C by 85 thousandths of a second. Osterman finishes third behind Alfie Mare. Marc-André Quesada, Dimitar Lazarov, Lewis Boots, Leo Livings, Harry Radcliffe, Leon Herbos and Harris Barber round out your top 10. Alfie Mare, irrespective of whether he's got a front fairing penalty or not, has made up 19 positions in that race from 21st to finish on the road second. Victor Reutz makes up 8 places to finish 11th ahead of Conrad Doyle. Lawrence von Vlaanderen started 18th, finished in 13th ahead of Tristan Abiels. Klaus Hans started 22nd, finished 15th ahead of Andreas Jederup. Anton Christensen started 20th, made up 3 places to finish 17th ahead of Mick Klinkers. Tiger Holdhausen and Paul Dussard. Ryan Ramperdanath would finish in 21st ahead of Noah Stehauder. Mille de Karlsmaker. I'm so pleased to see Finn Albert Jorgensen, who I think might be slightly limping after that moment. With Benedictas Masiokas. I know that Benedictas has had transponder troubles yesterday. I'm not too sure if he made it onto the field, but that concludes qualifying Heats 1, B versus C for Mini and Mini Rookie. Up next, it's the race that's going to take us to the lunch break. DD2 and DD2 Masters, their qualifying heat up next. So, our race that brings us into the official lunch break here on day 2 of round 1 of the BNL karting series for 2025. Up next, it's DD2 and DD2 Masters with the qualifying heat results setting the grid for the upcoming pre-final at 14:08 local time. Here's your grid for the qualifying heat itself. It's Sem Knopfjes, the winner of the final yesterday. He'll be joined by close rival from France, Antoine Babahoul on the front row. Nicolas Guillaume and Axel Hoos line up on row number 2. Then we have the first of our DD2 Masters drivers rounding out the inside of row number 3. Nikolai Christensen with RS Competition, not running on an OTK, he's running on a Birrell. He's joined by Lawrence Herbose from Bouvin Power on row 3. Cosimo Durante and William Christensen next row. Then follow that up with Hannes Morin and Christophe Capitain, the next of our DD2 Masters runners in the 5-2-8 representing France. William Norbeek, Wood Kirstens, Frederik Zebes, Brandon Klein-Nagelvoort, Ronnie Gutler, Tino Egeskov, Dimitri Ostrovsky, Jeremy Brasler, and we've got Kian de Brandt, Michael Becker, Jonathan Morin, Christoph Adams, Rudis Klavins, and Jonathan Wimore rounding out your grid. So 7 minutes plus an additional lap for the only qualifying heats for DD2 and DD2 Masters. Sem Knopfjes and Antoine Babahoul will have to control the rolling start as they will now filter their way at a snail's pace. And the field will start to concertina like an accordion as everyone will be ready to go racing. So it's going to be a case of wait for it, revs up, lights on, and the lights go out, we're underway. Good start there by Nicolas Guillaume, who manages to make his way into second position in the early exchanges. Everyone tries to get through at turn 1 and 2. A lot of drivers bumping over the inside curve going through into turn 2 as we head to the Europlan for the very first time. One driver, Frederik Zebis, going high, wide and handsome around the outside. Someone else is trying to attempt that as well. Ronnie Gudler from Germany, as the field makes its way to the main infield section here at turn 9. So through we go in towards turns 12 and 13 very shortly. Sem Knopfjes has got an initial advantage. Guillaume second. Barbarou third as we cross the line to complete the opening lap. And Babahoul dives up the inside through turn 1 on Guillaume to retake second position. That's allowing Cosimo Durante from Italy to close on in. Italian for MKC Motorsport running in fourth. Axel Hoos, Nikolai Christensen and Lawrence Herbose all drop a place. Hannes Morin, the two-time European champion from Sweden, in both internal combustion and electric, has moved up to 8th ahead of William Christensen. Frederik Zebis trying to move up the order, but the field makes its way through turn number 10. And I think that was Brandon Klein-Nagelvoort trying to go around the outside of Frederik Zebis. And Zebis has got someone to his immediate left-hand side for the briefest of moments, as that's William Nordbeck trying to get the switch back on the 433, now with SP Motorsports. Knopfjes, after the opening 2 laps, has a lead of nearly nigh on a second. Leading in Masters, Nikolai Christensen currently down in P7. Axel Hoos and Lawrence Herbos were side by side for the briefest of moments down the Europalan, trying to battle for position. And Hoos stays ahead for the minute. They have got Nikolai Christensen and a fellow Birolart behind him. There's Hannes Morin. William Christensen and Wood Gerstens running out the top 10. Christophe Capitain now down in 11th, ahead of Brandon Klein, Nagelvort, Frederick Zevis, William Norbeek, Tino Egeskov, as Lawrence Herbos finally gets through on Axel Hoos. So that's a change for 5th place. William Norbeek's found himself dropping down to 14th position in the 4:05. So we're 30 seconds away from half-time in this race. Antoine Barbahoul, new fastest lap of the race, 54.171. So the drivers continue their way down the Europalan into turn 6, into turn 7. And there you see the flood of activity. And waiting to see what the next recorded speed will be through the trap. That's normally on the start-finish straight across, I think, turn number 1. So on the run down to turn 1, I might add. So Zemknopfius across the line. He records the speed of 115.4 kilometres an hour. Cosimo Durante, 117. Christophe Capitain, nearly 119 kilometres an hour. Nikolai Christensen has gone quicker than that, but 120 kilometres an hour for those in regards to the speed units used in the United Kingdom and other places such as the USA. That's nigh on 75 miles an hour. So 2 3/4 minutes to go. Wout Kirsten's passed on William Christensen. Frederick Zevis now passes Christophe Capitain, moves up into 11th. Barbrou, Guillaume, et al. Are trying to chase down the leader. Zemknopfius. Still a lot of mind games happening at the moment, as that might have been William Norbeek possibly getting through, or was that William Christensen on Christophe Capitain? Nikolai Christensen gets through, and that would have been on Axel Hoos for 6th place, and also continuing to hold on, putting another cart between himself and Christophe Capitain. Axel Hoos is hemorrhaging positions at the moment. He's lost out to Hannes Morin. He's going to lose out again. So just over 1 minute 45 to go, plus an additional lap. And Axel Hoos now defending sternly from Frederick Zevis, who partway through the season last year moved from RS Competition and went to SP Motorsport. Change in the meantime for 4th place. Lawrence Herbos past Cosimo Durante. So Bouvin gets past MKC. The leaders are trying to stride away into the distance. Zemknopfius has a lead, and it's 0.72 of a second ahead of Barbaroux. Guillaume rounding out your top 3, a further 6 and a bit tenths behind. And it's Herbos, Cosimo Durante, Nikolai Christensen still leads Masters, and the nearest competitor to him is Christophe Capitain, down in 14th place. That's 8 spots between the pair. So next time around we go on to the penultimate lap of the race and of the morning's action here at the home of champions at Karting Genk. Over the line, 2 laps to go. Zemknopfius' lead now truncated to just over 6.5 tenths. Antoine Barbahoul, Nicolas Guillaume, Lawrence Herbos round out your top 4. Frederick Zevis gets through on Wout Kirsten. So the Dane now moving his way. That's a 6th position gained, up to 6th from 12th. He's very clearly showing his frustration in timed qualifying this morning. But it's not always about where you start, it's where you finish. Rudis Clavins and Jonathan Waymour round out the 24 drivers that are still running on the circuit, but the leaders very shortly will be coming round the final corner to complete lap number 8. Last lap underway of the morning's action. And Zem Knopfius has a lead of just over 4.5 tenths of a second ahead of Antoine Barbaroux. Nicolas Guillaume a further 1 second back in P3. Herbols, Cosimo Durante ran at your top 5 overall. And more to the point, top 5 in DD2 Masters. Nikolai Christensen very much looking to keep his advantage at this moment in time. He holds on to P6 and he's still 8 places ahead of the nearest DD2 Masters driver. Christophe Capitain, Jeremy Brazier in the number 516 from France rounds out the top 3 in the class. Dmitry Ostrovsky and Michael Becker are 19th and 20th. They round out the top 5. But leaders now coming round out of turn 11, heading into turns 12 and 13. It's going to be a run out of the final corner. And Zem Knopfius will take the win. Antoine Barbaroux second. Guillaume third. The top 3 started and finished where it all began. First, second and third respectively. Lawrence Herbols moves up from 6th during the race to finish P4. Ahead of Cosimo Durante, who also gained 2 places. Nikolai Christensen wins DD2 Masters in 6th, ahead of Frederick Zebis, who made up 6 places from 13th to finish 7th. Wout Kirsten's 8th, ahead of Hannes Morin, with Axel Hoos running at the top 10. William Christensen, William Norbeck, Brandon Klein-Nagelvort running at the top 13. Christophe Capitain, 2nd in Masters, 14th overall, ahead of Ronnie Gutler. Denmark's Tino Egeskov and Kian de Brandt rounding out the next couple of spots. Jeremy Brazier from France in the 516 finishes 18th. 3rd in Masters ahead of Dmitry Ostrovsky and Michael Becker, who round out your top 20 in the top 5 in Masters. Christoph Adams, Jonathan Morin, Rudis Clavins and Jonathan Wimore round out the finishers. All drivers completing the 9 laps of racing, covered by just over 15.5 seconds at the flag. So, folks, that rounds out the morning action for day 2 of the season opener of the BNL Karting Series here at the home of champions, Karting Genk. Well, you're not going to have to wait long. We're going to go to the lunch break now, so join us just before, around about 1 o'clock this afternoon, when we go into the second phase of today's racing, the last batch of qualifying heats before we go to the finals this afternoon. And more to the point, a big thank you to you all for watching. We'll see you very soon here on BNL Karting Series YouTube and Facebook. This has been a WFR Live TV production.